Have you ever noticed how confusing the world of food has become? On one side, you're told to eat healthy, to pick foods that are marketed as low, at all natural or sugar-free. On the other side, you step on the scale, and despite following all these so-called rules, your weight just won't budge. Or worse, it even starts creeping up, and you're left wondering, what am I doing wrong? The truth is, my friend, the problem isn't you. The problem is that many of the foods you think are helping you are actually the very ones secretly holding you back. And the scariest part, some of these foods are sitting right now in your pantry, in your fridge, and even in your shopping cart. You may be eating them every single day, and without realizing it, you're making it harder and harder for your body to stay lean, energized, and healthy. This is exactly why today's video is so important. We're not just talking about obvious junk food like donuts or deep fried fast food. No, we're diving into something way deeper and honestly way more dangerous foods that disguise themselves as healthy. Foods that have been marketed for decades as good for you, but are actually silently packing on pounds, slowing down your metabolism, spiking your blood sugar, and storing fat in all the wrong places. These foods wear a mask of health, and unless you know their secrets, you'll keep falling into the trap. Now here's the deal. Over the next hour, I'm going to give you the ultimate list of 50 foods that are secretly making you fat. And trust me when I say this, you do not want to miss even a single one, because some of the foods on this list will genuinely shock you. I'm talking about foods that people eat thinking they're doing something right, foods that are often recommended in diet plans, foods that even come with labels screaming words like organic, gluten, free fat, free, or energy boosting. But when we peel back the label and really look at what's inside, the truth is eye-opening. So why should you stay until the very end of this video? Because knowing just one or two of these foods isn't enough. You might think cutting out soda or candy is all you need, but what about the flavored yogurt you eat every morning? Or that energy bar you keep in your bag? Or even the so-called heart-healthy cereal you give your kids? These little daily habits add up, and unless you know the full list, chances are you'll keep eating something every day that's secretly adding fat to your body. But by the time we reach the final foods on this list, numbers 47 through 50, I promise you'll be shocked, maybe even a little angry, because these are foods almost every household in America buys, regularly believing they're making the right choice. And here's the exciting part. I'm not just here to point fingers and tell you what not to eat. That would be depressing, right? Instead, I'm going to give you simple swaps and alternatives you can start using immediately. Because the truth is, food should fuel you, not fool you. Once you know what to avoid and what to replace it with, eating healthy becomes so much easier. You'll have more energy, you'll feel lighter, and yes, the weight will start coming off. Without extreme dieting, without starving yourself, and without spending hours in the gym every day. So whether you're someone who's struggled with stubborn belly fat for years, or you're just starting your journey and want to avoid common mistakes, this video is going to give you clarity and confidence like never before. Stick with me until the end, take notes if you need to, and I guarantee you'll walk away with knowledge that can truly transform the way you eat and the way you live. Now, let's get started with the first foods on the list. And as we go through them, I want you to think about your own kitchen, your own habits, and which of these sneaky fat-making foods might already be holding you back. Let's begin with the very first food on this list, and it might come as a surprise because it's something many people grab every single morning: flavored yogurt. At first glance, yogurt seems like the perfect healthy snack. It has protein, it has calcium, it looks light and refreshing. But here's the truth. Most flavored yogurts on the market are loaded with sugar, sometimes more sugar than a candy bar. When you eat that first thing in the morning, your blood sugar spikes, giving you a short burst of energy, but it quickly crashes and leaves you craving more sweets just a few hours later. And what happens when your blood sugar keeps spiking and crashing? Your body stores more fat. The healthier choice would be to go for plain Greek yogurt and add your own fruit or a drizzle of honey. That way you control the sweetness without tricking your body into fat storage mode. The second sneaky culprit is something you might keep in your pantry thinking it's a better breakfast option: granola. Granola is marketed as wholesome, crunchy and natural, often with pictures of oats and nuts and dried fruit on the package. But the reality, a tiny bowl of granola can carry hundreds of calories, loads of sugar, and added oils that make it taste addictive. Most people eat 2 or 3 times the recommended serving size without realizing it, which means you've just eaten the calorie equivalent of a slice of cake before your day even started. Instead of pouring a giant bowl of granola, try using just a sprinkle on top of plain yogurt or oatmeal, so you still get the crunch without the calorie bomb. Moving on, let's talk about fruit juice. This one shocks people because fruits are healthy, right? But the problem is when you take fruit and squeeze it into juice, you strip away the fiber that keeps you full, and what you're left with is basically flavored sugar water. Even 100% fruit juice spikes your blood sugar rapidly, which leads to fat storage if you're not burning it off immediately. A glass of orange juice in the morning might sound like a healthy choice, but in reality, it's setting you up for a sugar crash later in the day. You're much better off eating the whole fruit because the fiber slows down the sugar absorption and keeps you satisfied. The fourth food on the list is something millions of people grab every afternoon for a quick energy boost: energy bars. With shiny wrappers and labels promising protein, fiber and fuel, they look like the perfect choice for busy people. But many energy bars are nothing more than glorified candy bars. They're loaded with added sugar, artificial flavors, and cheap ingredients that do more harm than good. Instead of fueling your body, they can trigger fat storage and leave you hungrier later. If you need something on the go, a handful of raw nuts and a piece of fruit is a far better choice that won't sabotage your goals. Now, the fifth sneaky food is diet soda. You might think, at least it doesn't have sugar, so it's better than regular soda. But artificial sweeteners actually confuse your body. They make your taste buds crave more sweetness, and studies have shown that people who drink diet soda often end up eating more calories overall. Not to mention, those chemicals can disrupt your gut health, which is directly linked to weight gain. So even though it says 0 calories on the can, the long-term effect is often the opposite. You gain more fat, especially around the belly area. Next up is whole wheat bread. Yes, you heard that right. Most breads labeled as whole wheat in the supermarket are not 100% whole grain. They often have enriched flour mixed in, which acts just like white bread in your body, spiking blood sugar and leading to fat storage. You eat a sandwich thinking you're making a smart choice, but your body processes it almost like regular white bread. The healthier swap here would be to look for bread that says 100% whole grain, or even better, try sprouted grain bread, which digests more slowly and keeps you full longer. The seventh item might surprise coffee lovers: those fancy coffee drinks. I'm not talking about plain black coffee, which can actually support fat loss when consumed in moderation. I'm talking about the flavored lattes, frappuccinos and mochas loaded with whipped cream, syrups and sugar. Some of these drinks have more calories than a full meal and as much sugar as a soda. If you drink them regularly, they can quickly add up to pounds of fat over time without you even realizing it. A smarter option would be a simple black coffee or coffee with a splash of milk and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Now let's take a look at dried fruit. This one is tricky because fruit itself is healthy, but when it's dried, it becomes concentrated in sugar and calories, and most brands add even more sugar and preservatives. A handful of dried mango or raisins can pack the same sugar punch as a candy bar. And since dried fruit is easy to overeat, you can consume a huge amount of calories in just a few bites. Instead, stick to fresh fruit, where you get water content and fiber to help control your appetite. The ninth food is salad dressing. Think about it, you might put together a beautiful bowl of vegetables only to drench it in bottled dressing that's full of unhealthy oils, sugar, and additives. Some dressings even contain as many calories as a slice of pizza, completely cancelling out the benefits of the salad itself. If you want your salad to actually help you lose weight, try making your own dressing at home with olive oil, lemon juice, and herbs. That way you know exactly what's going into your body. And finally, number 10, frozen diet meals. They seem convenient, portion controlled and low in calories, but here's the secret. They're often full of sodium, preservatives, and artificial ingredients. They may help you control calories for one meal, but they slow down your metabolism and leave you feeling unsatisfied, which leads you to snack later. In the long run, they actually make weight loss harder. A much better approach is to meal prep real, whole foods at home so you're in control of both portion size and quality. Let's keep going with this eye-opening list, because the more we uncover, the more you'll realize how many so-called healthy foods are actually standing between you and your goals. Number 11 is something many of us grew up eating at breakfast: instant oatmeal packets. Now, plain oats themselves are fantastic for health, full of fiber and slowed, digesting carbs. But those flavored instant packets, they're a sugar trap. They often contain brown sugar, maple flavoring, artificial fruit pieces, and preservatives. Instead of fueling your body, they spike your blood sugar and leave you hungrier by mid-morning. You think you're starting the day with a light, wholesome meal, but what you've really done is set yourself up for cravings. A much smarter choice is to buy plain rolled oats or steel. Cut oats, cook them yourself, and add your own fruit or a sprinkle of cinnamon. That way you get the fiber and nutrition without the added fat, storing sugars. The 12th sneaky food is flavored nut butters. Peanut butter and almond butter in their pure form can be nutrient-dense, packed with protein and healthy fats. But many brands add sugar, hydrogenated oils, and salt to make them taste addictive. 2 tablespoons of those flavored spreads can have as much sugar as a small candy bar, and because nut butter is already calorie-dense, those hidden sugars quickly push it into fat, storing territory. If you love nut butter, stick to the natural kind with just one ingredient: nuts. Now let's talk about number 13, veggie chips. This is a classic case of marketing trickery. They take vegetables like carrots, spinach, or beets, grind them into powder, mix them with potato starch and oils, and shape them into chips. At the end of the day, they're basically potato chips in disguise. They might have a trace of vitamins, but the fat and sodium content are through the roof, and you end up eating way more than you realize. If you want a crunchy snack, you're far better off making baked kale chips at home or snacking on air-popped popcorn. 14th item is smoothies, but not the kind you make at home with real fruit and greens. I'm talking about store-bought smoothies and the ones you get from chain smoothie shops. They sound healthy, but most of them are loaded with sugary syrups, fruit concentrates, frozen yogurt, or sherbet. A single smoothie can carry more than 600 calories and over 100 grams of sugar. That's more than 2 cans of soda. It feels like you're making a smart choice, but your waistline pays the price. A better idea is to make smoothies at home using unsweetened almond milk, real fruit, and some protein powder for balance. Number 15 is trail mix. Again, nuts and seeds are great, but when you add candy pieces, dried fruit coated in sugar, and salty roasted nuts, the calorie count skyrockets. The small handful that's supposed to be a snack turns into a calorie overload, and because it's easy to overeat, it sabotages your fat loss goals. If you love trail mix, make your own with raw almonds, walnuts, and maybe a small amount of unsweetened dried fruit. 16th on the list is gluten-free packaged snacks. A lot of people see gluten-free on the label and immediately assume it's healthier. But the truth is, gluten-free cookies, crackers, and breads often have even more sugar and starch than their regular counterparts to make up for the missing gluten texture. So instead of being a weight loss tool, they end up being just as bad or worse for fat gain. Remember, just because something says gluten-free doesn't mean it's calorie-free. Number 17 is flavored rice cakes. They've been marketed as a low-calorie snack for decades, but the problem is they're almost pure refined carbs. When you add artificial flavors like caramel or cheese powder, you're just eating empty calories that spike blood sugar and do nothing to keep you satisfied. You end up eating multiple rice cakes, and before you know it, you've consumed more calories than you thought. A better alternative is topping a plain rice cake with avocado or hummus so you get some real nutrition. Moving on, number 18 is bottled iced tea. You see tea on the label and think antioxidants, but in reality, most bottled iced teas are full of sugar, sometimes more than a soda. Even the diet versions often contain artificial sweeteners that confuse your body and lead to cravings. If you love iced tea, brew your own at home, add lemon and a touch of honey if you need sweetness. The 19th sneaky food is fat-free cheese. It might seem like a lighter option, but when food companies strip out the fat, they usually replace it with starches, gums, and artificial ingredients to mimic texture. The taste isn't satisfying, which means you eat more of it, and the additives don't do your health any favors. Full, fat cheese in small amounts is actually more satiating and less processed. Number 20 is pretzels. They're marketed as a healthier snack than chips, but pretzels are basically refined white flour and salt with no fiber or protein. They spike your blood sugar, they make you hungrier, and because they're light and crunchy, you end up eating a lot without feeling full. If you're craving something crunchy, raw veggies with hummus are a much better option. Now let's continue with number 21, flavored instant rice or pasta sides. These quick cook pouches and boxes seem convenient, but they're loaded with sodium, artificial flavors, and refined carbs. They cause water retention, bloating, and fat gain when eaten regularly. Instead, cook plain rice or pasta at home and flavor it yourself with herbs, olive oil, or fresh vegetables. Number 22 is sports drinks. Unless you're an athlete running marathons or working out for hours, you don't need the sugar and electrolytes packed into these colorful bottles. One sports drink can have as much sugar as 2 donuts, and if you're just sitting at a desk or doing light exercise, those extra sugars are only stored as fat. Water is always the best hydrator, and if you want a little flavor, add slices of cucumber or lemon. The 23rd sneaky food is flavored instant coffee creamers. They might make your morning coffee taste like vanilla or hazelnut dessert, but they're filled with trans fats, artificial sweeteners, and corn syrup solids. That splash you add daily adds up over time, sneaking in hundreds of empty calories every week. Switching to a splash of real milk or unsweetened almond milk is a far better choice. Number 24 is frozen yogurt. People think it's better than ice cream, but most frozen yogurt shops pump their product full of sugar, artificial flavors, and emulsifiers. Then you add sugary toppings like candy or syrup, and suddenly your dessert has more calories than regular ice cream. If you want a sweet treat, you're better off making a smoothie bowl with frozen fruit at home. The 25th food on this list is granola bars. Similar to energy bars, most granola bars are bound together with honey, sugar, or corn syrup. Some are even dipped in chocolate or yogurt coatings. They feel like a health snack, but they're essentially candy in bar form. A banana with a handful of nuts will keep you more satisfied with fewer calories. Next, number 26 is flavored popcorn. While plain air-popped popcorn can be an excellent low-calorie snack, the flavored versions, especially caramel, cheese, or butter-coated popcorn, are loaded with sugar and unhealthy fats. Because popcorn is light and easy to overeat, you can consume hundreds of calories without realizing it. Stick to plain popcorn with a sprinkle of salt or nutritional yeast for flavor. The 27th culprit is bottled smoothies from grocery stores. They might say made with real fruit on the label, but they're often pasteurized, meaning the nutrients are reduced, and they're packed with concentrated fruit juices and added sugars. A single bottle can be over 300 calories, and because it lacks fiber, it doesn't fill you up. Number 28 is low-fat flavored yogurt drinks. These are marketed as digestive aids, but the sugar content is so high that any benefit from probiotics is cancelled out by the calorie overload. Instead of drinking your calories, stick to plain kefir or unsweetened yogurt. The 29th food is breakfast cereal. Even the ones that look healthy with words like whole grain or fortified with vitamins are often loaded with sugar. A bowl of cereal with milk can send your blood sugar soaring and crash you down before lunchtime. Instead of cereal, scrambled eggs with veggies or oatmeal is a far more sustaining breakfast. And number 30 is flavored nut milks. Almond milk, soy milk or oat milk can be good alternatives, but the flavored versions, vanilla, chocolate or even sweetened original, are packed with sugar. If you pour it into your coffee or cereal daily, those extra calories add up fast. Always look for unsweetened varieties. Number 30, one is flavored bottled water. At first glance, it looks like a healthier alternative to soda, but most of these enhanced waters are packed with added sugars, artificial flavors, and preservatives. You think you're hydrating, but in reality you're sneaking in calories that your body doesn't need. Some of these bottles even have as much sugar as a candy bar. Instead of spending money on sugar water, the smarter move is to infuse your plain water at home with lemon, cucumber, or mint. Not only is it refreshing, but it's calorie-free and helps keep your metabolism in check. Next up, number 32 is granola cereal. People see granola in a big jar with nuts, oats, and honey and assume it's healthy. But most store-bought granolas are baked with oils and sugars, making them extremely calorie-dense. A small bowl can pack 500 calories without you even realizing it. What's worse, it doesn't fill you up for very long. If you love granola, the trick is to make your own at home with lightly toasted oats and unsweetened dried fruit. But even then, portion control is key. Number 33 is energy drinks. They might give you a quick buzz of energy from caffeine and sugar, but they leave your body crashing later. Many of these drinks have as much sugar as soda, plus artificial stimulants that stress your heart and nervous system. Instead of fueling your workout, they overload your body with empty calories that easily convert to fat if you're not burning them off. The healthier alternative is simple: black coffee or green tea for energy, paired with a balanced meal. Moving on, number 34 is processed plant-based meats. While going plant-based can be great for health, the problem is with those highly processed patties, nuggets, and sausages. They're usually made with refined oils, additives, and flavor enhancers to mimic meat. The calorie and sodium content can be just as bad as, if not worse than, regular fast food. If you want to eat plant-based, whole foods like beans, lentils, and tempeh are far superior. At number 35 we have bottled salad dressings. Salads themselves are healthy, but once you pour on creamy dressings like ranch, Caesar, or even low-fat Italian, you've sabotaged your meal. These bottles are full of oils, added sugars, and preservatives, turning a low-calorie dish into a fat trap. The best move is to make your own dressing with olive oil, lemon juice, or balsamic vinegar. Not only does it taste fresher, but it actually nourishes your body instead of tricking it. The 36th food is breakfast muffins. Yes, even the ones labeled bran muffins, or low-fat muffins. The problem is that they're loaded with refined flour and sugar, which your body quickly stores as fat. A single muffin can have as many calories as a slice of cake, yet because it's marketed as breakfast, people think it's a healthier option. A better alternative for the morning is a hard, boiled egg with fruit. It fuels your body instead of dragging it down. Now, let's look at number 37, processed cheese slices. Those individually wrapped slices might melt perfectly on a burger, but that's because they're engineered with oils and additives. They contain very little real cheese and plenty of sodium. They don't satisfy your hunger the way real cheese does, and they contribute to bloating and weight gain. If you want cheese, choose a small slice of real cheddar or mozzarella and savor the flavor. Number 38 is pancake syrup. Many people drizzle it generously over pancakes or waffles, thinking it's just a sweet topping. But most syrups aren't made from real maple. They're a mix of high fructose corn syrup, caramel coloring, and artificial flavors. A few tablespoons can load your body with sugar that quickly turns into belly fat. If you love pancakes, go for pure maple syrup in moderation, or better yet, top them with fresh fruit. At number 39, we have instant noodles. They're cheap, fast, and comforting, but nutritionally, they're one of the worst things you can eat regularly. Loaded with sodium, unhealthy oils, and refined carbs, they create water retention, bloating, and fat gain. They also lack the protein and fiber your body needs. If you crave noodles, try whole grain or rice noodles with vegetables and a light broth instead. Number 40 is packaged pastries. From croissants to toaster strudels, these treats are filled with refined flour, sugar, and trans fats. They give you that instant pleasure but leave your body craving more, leading to overeating. Over time, this habit directly contributes to fat accumulation, especially around the waistline. If you want something sweet, a piece of dark chocolate with nuts will do far less damage. Coming in at 40, one are flavored yogurts. While plain Greek yogurt can be an excellent source of protein, the flavored versions are essentially dessert. They're filled with fruit syrups, added sugars, and artificial coloring. Eating 1 cup can give you as much sugar as ice cream. If yogurt is your thing, always go for plain and add your own fruit or honey. Number 42 is fried chicken sandwiches. While grilled chicken can be healthy once you bread it, fry it, and slap it between 2 buns with mayo and cheese, it becomes a calorie bomb. Fast food versions can exceed 800 calories in one sandwich, and because they're fried in unhealthy oils, they're even worse for your waistline. Choosing grilled chicken with whole grain bread is a much smarter choice. The 43rd sneaky food is bottled smoothies marketed as detox or green. While they might look healthy with their green color, most are loaded with apple juice, pineapple concentrate, and sweeteners. You're basically drinking liquid sugar with very little fiber. Real detox happens with whole vegetables, water, and fiber, not bottled sugar drinks. At 44, we've got frozen pizza. It's convenient and quick, but these pizzas are full of refined flour crusts, processed cheese, and salty meats like pepperoni. Even a small frozen pizza can pack well over 10 calories. Eating them regularly guarantees fat storage. If you love pizza, make it at home with a whole wheat base, fresh toppings, and light cheese. Number 45 is flavored instant oats. Much like the instant oatmeal packets we discussed earlier, these are loaded with sugar. They give the illusion of being wholesome, but the artificial flavors and added sweeteners make them no better than eating cookies for breakfast. Sticking to plain oats is the better move. Now number 46 is chocolate-coated protein bars. Many people grab these after workouts thinking they're fueling recovery, but in truth, most protein bars are candy bars in disguise. With sugar, palm oils, and artificial sweeteners, they do more harm than good. A protein shake with clean ingredients or a boiled egg with fruit is far superior. Number 47 is flavored crackers. Cheese crackers, pizza-flavored crackers, or even whole grain versions often contain oils, flavoring agents, and excess sodium. They don't provide lasting satiety, and because they're light, you end up eating large amounts. Instead, opt for raw veggies, hummus, or whole grain toast with avocado. The 48th culprit is instant pancake and waffle mixes. These boxed mixes are filled with white flour, sugar, and artificial flavors. You think you're making a quick breakfast, but you're really feeding your body empty carbs that store as fat. A homemade version with oat flour, eggs, and bananas is healthier and actually energizes you. Number 49 is processed deli meats. From bologna to salami, these meats are loaded with sodium, preservatives, and unhealthy fats. Eating them regularly not only leads to fat gain, but also increases long-term health risks. Lean grilled chicken or turkey breast is a much smarter choice for sandwiches and wraps. And finally, number 50, flavored coffee drinks. This includes frappuccinos, caramel lattes, and mocha specials. These drinks are liquid desserts disguised as coffee, often containing whipped cream, syrups, and full-fat milk. One large flavored coffee can exceed 500 calories, which is more than a full meal. If you really love coffee, stick to black or with a splash of milk and avoid the sugar bombs. Now that we've walked through this massive list of 50 foods that secretly make you fat, let's take a step back and tie everything together. The truth is, so many of the foods we grew up thinking were healthy, convenient, or harmless are quietly working against us. They don't just add extra pounds, they also mess with our energy, our cravings, and our long-term health. And the scary part is that companies spend millions in marketing to make sure you don't notice. But now you do notice, and that awareness is your superpower. When you know what's really hiding inside your pantry, you can make smarter choices, and over time, those small choices add up to big results. Here's the empowering message. You don't need to cut out everything you love. You just need to get smarter about what you eat. Swap sugar-laden drinks for water with fruit. Choose whole foods instead of processed ones. Read the labels, question the marketing, and remind yourself that your health is worth more than convenience. The ultimate reward isn't just a slimmer body, it's energy, confidence, and the knowledge that you're in control. So as we wrap up this eye-opening journey, ask yourself, which of these foods surprised you the most? And more importantly, which ones are you going to cut back on starting today? Because change doesn't happen tomorrow, it starts now. And if you stick with it, your body will thank you, not just with weight loss, but with vitality that lasts a lifetime.